Is it working? The chat's not coming up. Let's see. Is anybody there? No. Hey, okay, there's Ducky. I'm just wondering too, because this is through, hold on, let me turn on my music. This is the first time that I'm doing a pop-up through Restream. And so I'm kind of concerned that I'm not going to be able to see everybody's comments depending on where they pick up at, either YouTube, Facebook, or the business page. If I share it out to groups, let me see. Hey, Angel. Let me see. Okay, so it goes out live as me. That's weird. All right. Just gonna share this to Engelgeist, or is, because I gotta share it into the Engelgeist group. My concern is I'm not gonna be able to see, hey Michaela, I'm not gonna be able to see everybody's comments. All right, I just shared it to a couple of groups, but it only shows one viewer. Well, that's on Facebook, that's probably Ducky. I may have to do this from my phone. That's what I was just realizing. Like go live from within the group versus going live from Restream. But I don't know. I'll just wait for a minute because I know that we have, Jennifer has a, she sent over payment. So there's Amber. Hey, Amber. Amber, where are you watching this from? Like, are you in the Engelgeist group, or are you just watching it from my Dan Geist page? I'm watching it in Engelgeist Clairvoyant Healer Psychic Reader. The business page or in the group? You're in the group. Okay, so then it's in the group. If it's in the group, then we're good. I think that's the business page, though. I have to actually post it to the group, but what I'm afraid of is that if people comment on the group page, I'm not going to be able to see it here. So like if people are in the group commenting on the video, does that make sense? There's Renee, okay. So people are finding it, I guess. It's in the group. Okay, so good. So then it's made it to the group. All right, not on the business page. I don't know. I'm fucking confused. This streaming shit is, you know, kind of cuckoo. I'm just waiting for... So tonight we're doing Thursday Throwdown. We're doing cards for... we're doing 3 cards for 12, 1 card for 5. Yes or no donation sent via PayPal. I may do a couple of free cards for people as we go, but Daddy needs some money. Baby needs a new pair of shoes. No, I do. I need to remember that I'm in business, guys. And I took a long hiatus, so it's on all. Okay, so then that's good. But then where's Jennifer? Well, it's just now 7, so maybe she's going to come on in a minute. Because she did reserve, so she gets an extra card for pre-reserving. So excited. What's everybody up to tonight? Anything good? Do I need any more light on me? I'm good, right? You can see me. I feel like this side of my face is dark. But I don't want to... No, that's over on that side, so it's this side that needs more light. Let me see if I can... Jesus Christ. The chair's been back, yeah. Yeah, I moved it to the small apartment. It's a little bit almost too big. Oh shit. It's a little too big for this, for this apartment. I end up banging into it all the time, the wings, because the wingspan is so big. It was great. I mean, I banged into it in the office, but at least it was up in the office space at the other house. So I would only bang into it when I was in the office. Here it's in the living room area, and it's actually sitting right in front of the TV, because this place is really small. I don't know if you guys know, the apartment that I moved into with the dogs is really small. You're just listening to Dan the Man. Right on. Hey, Kim Klein, how are you? I'm good. So it's Thursday Throwdown, guys. We're doing cards for $5. One card for $5, 3 cards for $12. There was a special if you reserved, you got an extra 4th card, or you could use it as whatever. Oh, and also I'll do pendulum swings if you just want a yes or no. Same prices. I may do a couple of free reads, depending, but I'll do those later. Hi, Suzanne Montoya de Herrera. How are you? Actually, I know that you're new to us, so you would definitely be a candidate for a free card or 2. Oh, and also you get to pick the subject you want me to read on. It doesn't have to be on a specific subject. Like, it can be your specific choice. It's not like we're doing a choice. It's not like a theme tonight. So if that interests anybody. Actually, Suzanne, if you can see and hear me, do you want a card? Would you like a card, my dear? Because I don't think I've pulled a card for you, and I know that you just joined the group, so if you're interested, I would do that for you as a new member. No charge, obviously. Just let me know. That way I know I have permission. Well, I'm glad you're trying to stay positive, Kim Klein. I'm sorry that you're dealing with a lot. I hope you'll get through it. You will get through it. There's no even hope. You will. Mendez Utoni, are you a member of the Facebook group, or are you coming in from another group? Because I give preferential treatment to the people that are members of the Engelgeist group. And I know Susanna is. Or Suzanne is. But I will pull a card for you, Mendez, if you're a member of the group. I feel like tickle, tickle, tickle here. So, Suzanne, are you here? I'm not seeing her response. Maybe she's not interested. All right, Mendez, do you want a card? Because I know that name's new to me. I've not seen you before. Let's get the energy going. Let's get it started. Okay. All right, let's start. So did you have a specific subject you want me to read on, Mendez? Just without giving me any information, just give me like a topic. Hey Mandy, how are you? It feels like the energy is really slow tonight. I don't know what's going on. Like I feel sort of disconnected. Maybe the lag's worse because it's restream. It might be, you guys might have even longer lag times. Bye, Kim. Know that you've got this. You can get through anything, and you will. You just got to trust it. We all are going to get through whatever we're going through. On love? Okay, cool, Mendez. Give me 1 minute. You don't mind if I call you Mendez, do you? All right. Just give me one moment. Okay, Mendez, what I'm going to say about your personality or in the shuffle that I got for you, especially in like the love department, is it sort of feels like you're a little bit pushy, like you're trying to rush things a little bit, like you've got a lot of excitement around the idea of love or the want or the desire for love or the relationship you might or might not be in, but it feels like you've got to sort of be in control of it and you're kind of on it all the time. Does that make any sense? And not in a bad way, just sort of like a little bit... I don't know if domineering is the right word, but it kind of felt a little bit domineering in a way, or sort of like just in it, trying to make it happen. Does that make sense? A little bit overly excited. If you could give me a yes or a no on that, please, that will just let me know that I'm attached to the right energy. Are you having a tough time, Mandy? You are married and we've been going through some things. Okay, so, but let me just ask you this. I don't want to know too many specifics. I just need a yes or no. Would you say that you're trying to be a little bit domineering or controlling of the situation that you're trying to get through right now? Like it feels like a little bit, and I don't mean controlling in a bad way, but it just feels like you're sort of putting a lot of your energy into it, trying to make sure that it works, if that makes any sense at all. Would that be you? Like there's not a lot of operating on faith, if that makes sense. It feels more like you're trying to get in there and get ahead of it and fix it. Yes, okay, thank you. So when I flip over your card, it's the Eight of Crystals, which is the synthesis. Let me see, can I open the Buddha? There's the Buddha camera. Let me position Buddha correctly. I'll put the card up here so you can see it. So, Buddha always wants to not hold the cards. Come on. Okay. So, synthesis to me, it's Eight of Crystals, which has to do with, eights are always sort of like challenges, and synthesis to me is about working out the communication stuff. It's definitely a mental card. Crystals deals with the mind. So to me, it feels like you guys are trying to work out your communication. I mean, you did let me know that you're married, so I know you're in a relationship, but it feels like there's a wonkiness to it. Like things aren't quite connecting right now, and it's frustrating. The reason why I say that is these crystals are sort of like sliding to the side, and to me, these all look like radio frequency knobs. Like you're trying to find the right tuning. Like you're almost trying to tune the radio, but right now it's not making any sense, or you're getting a lot of static from the other side. I don't know. It's funny, when I look at this crystal up here and this crystal down here, it almost feels like you guys might be considering, or on your end, you might be considering a breakup. These almost feel like the pieces snapping apart in a way to me. And you're considering that, but you're still sort of trying to give it a second chance, or still trying to work out here in the center whether or not you guys can get back on the same wavelength. This card says to me at one point in time you guys were good, or things were better in the past, and now things are at an impasse where you're not quite sure that you can get there. And I think that some of that has to do with mentally you're trying to control things a little bit too much. That was kind of what I was getting in the shuffle too, is you're kind of throwing your energy into it, which makes sense, right? I don't want you to take that in the wrong way, but I think that there's a little bit of, what's the feeling? Like it's a little bit maybe overwhelming for your partner or a little bit domineering for your partner, in the sense that I don't know if it's got to be your way, and you're not necessarily, maybe what they're saying to you isn't necessarily making sense to you, but you're also not accepting or hearing what they're saying on the same end. Does that make sense? And that's what sort of is creating this sort of, we're not like connecting. And I think that there might be some opportunities here for, if you really do want to reach a place of synthesis and get back in sync with this partner of yours or your husband or whoever, your wife, whatever, if you really truly want to get back in sync with them, you may have to sort of get a little bit out of your thoughts and what your goals are and what you need and what you want, and listen to their side of things a little bit more open-minded in a way, to sort of balance that out and get over the challenges that you guys are having right now. Does that make sense? But to me, this card feels like all the challenges that you're dealing with in your love department are definitely mental and communicative. Like, so whatever's going on in your head and whatever you're stuck on as far as how you think things should be, is causing you sort of this maybe communication breakdown. Does that make sense? Hey, Nancy, how are you? Hey, Caroline. It's funny you should say that, Mandy, about the downloads. My ears have been ringing, like, for off and on for the last few days. I don't know what's going on. I've been kind of like, it's also been humid as hell here, so that's been sort of taxing on my skinny little body. Oh. Okay, cool. I'm glad that makes sense. I mean, you can figure this one out and reach a place of synthesis. I like that with this card you are trying to work on it, but to me it feels like there's a little bit of my way or the highway with you. Like, thank you, Caroline. It's good to see you too. There's a little bit of my way or the highway, like this. Like maybe you're the one considering breaking it off or changing it if they don't start to communicate in the way that you need. Just seems a little bit, I don't know. That's my take on it. I could be wrong about that, but you're welcome, Mendez. Welcome. You're very welcome. So where's Jennifer? She paid for a reading and she's not even here. I just hope she's not watching somewhere else trying to comment and I can't see the comments. Is there anybody else? How many viewers do we even have? Restream doesn't tell me, so I can't see who's all in the room or not. There's only 9, okay. And Jennifer's not here. I can't tell who's all in the room. At least before on my phone, it gives you a list of everybody on Facebook that's in the room, but on Restream, I can't see anything. Oh, I've got 12 people watching, actually. No, wait a second, hold on. What's this? Let's open this. Okay, so I have 2 people on YouTube. I have 1 person. This is weird. This shows me channels that are connected. I show 12 people watching, but anyways. Hi, Amanda Jo Burke. Happy smiley face. 10 and going up. Okay. I just feel a bit in the dark about this. Like it's weird. So, who wants a card? Anyone? Anyone? Because Jen's the only one that has a reservation, and she's not here. Hi, Amanda. Ouch. My chair's cutting into my leg. It's lag. Yeah, I know. I hate lag. Hey, Jen DiFiore. I didn't even know you were on here. 9 on Facebook. Awkward pauses with Dan Geist. So are we just gonna all sit here and stare at each other? You asked for one, Jen Di Fiore. Would you like one? It's just a single card. I'll do it for free because I've never read you before. But I also do 3 cards for 12 if you want. Wow, this lag is incredible. Oh, that's funny, the old title's on it. It's totally not even right. Okay. Do you want to give me a subject, Jen? Just as like a one-word subject of what you would like me to read for you? Like love, career. It can't be another person, though. That's not present. Mandy, I'll do you next. Life? Just like life in general? Okay. Let's see what we've got for you, Jen. So for you, I feel like there's a bit of a, like, I don't know, like you get into a bit of a struggle at times in life, but you don't let it stop you. Like you don't give up. You're like a bit of a fighter, if that makes any sense. Like there was a push in your cards that felt like a kind of like even when you have to face adversity, you don't let it get you down. You push through it. Does that make sense to you, Jen? Just give me a yes or no. I mean, you're giving me your subject matter is life, so it's a pretty broad subject. So that's the way that I'm interpreting it. Okay, Mandy, I will do a career for you in a moment. But I just want to know that if that's a yes or a no as far as your attitude towards life, Jen. Like, you're not one to... She says yes. Okay, cool. The card that you got makes sense, complete sense for... what I'm feeling when I shuffle the cards. This is the Chariot. It's Major Arcana, which is definitely, packs a punch, has a little bit more energy to it. But to me, it feels like you're directed and you've got an idea of where you want to go. You've got a lot of ideas, actually. It feels like you've got a lot of things spinning around in that head of yours. Goals, long-term goals, eyes on the prize. I kind of want to say that this feels to me like you tend to move quickly. You're sort of like a dog on a bone. You don't necessarily give up very easily. And you have the energy and the tenacity with this card to get things done. Some of the goals that you have, it feels like they're kind of big or like money making maybe. It looks to me like you have the capacity and the ability to go about getting it if you like. You definitely have the drive and the will. This horse up here in the corner, this blue horse, says that you have like the willpower, the push, the like that to get it done. So you don't, hey Karen, you don't take sort of no for an answer, especially with this kind of card. It's like you've kind of got your direction and you're sort of wanting to head in it. Let me see, what else do I want to say about this? The only thing I would say is just be mindful of moving so quickly that sometimes you might miss the small details. Or the more minute details that might be sort of important in the pursuit of your goals. I don't think that those small details will necessarily offset your goals or put you off path for your goals, but they might prolong you reaching your goals by a little bit. But this Chariot card says to me that if you haven't picked a direction yet, like say if you're sitting there and you're listening to me and you're going, what the fuck's he talking about? I don't know what I want to do. That's why I asked for a life card. It says to me that actually, no, honestly, there's something in the back of your mind that you do want to do. And if you haven't admitted it to yourself yet, then you need to, so that you can get on about using that energy to move forward. If you have admitted to yourself about it and you know it and you're aware of it, then, you know, and you haven't already put yourself in gear, you've got all of the gas in the car, so to speak, with this Chariot card to get you there. So I would get about it if you haven't already started it. If you have already started it, this card definitely says it's going to be a fast and wild ride. Just keep your eyes on the prize, head forward. Don't forget the small details too. Like, don't move so quickly or be so like pinpointed on your goal that you don't miss some of the side routes or some of the smaller things that might also be kind of beneficial or teach you, or might be the routes that you need to take to get there too. Does that make sense? Great, thank you, Jen. I'm glad I hit it perfect. Good. Move forward towards your goals, girl. You've got all of this good energy behind you to move you there swiftly and quickly. I'm going to take that down. All right, Mandy. So we're going to do, I'm going to assume I have your permission, Mandy. We're going to do a career for you. All right, so Mandy, I'm going to say the energy feels a little bit heavy in the career space for you. It felt like in the first two shuffles there was a bit of like syrupiness to the cards. It felt like there was a bit of fear or worry that was like plaguing you. Does that make any sense at all? Then I flip your card and it makes total sense. Can I get a yes on that if there is some sort of fear or worry that you've got going on right now that's heavy for you in your career space, please? You there, Mandy? There's probably some lag. But if you could confirm that for me, I can move forward with your card. Yes, okay, cool. So the card that I have here is the Six of Cups, which is sorrow. And so it feels to me like I want to say this. If you're not in a dead-end job right now, or a job that you don't absolutely love, I think that's why this sorrow card's showing up. I feel like there's a couple things about this. Either if you don't have a job and you're wondering about career, there's some sadness or worry or fear about picking the right thing or whatever that's going on with this card. But I also feel like this card has a dual meaning. There could be a situation here where you're stuck in a career that's not really working for you or that you don't really like, and you know that, and you're still giving to it. The reason why I say this is like, this jar here represents sort of as you and the flowers pouring out feel like you're still sort of giving your energy to something that's old and dead and doesn't really bring you much joy anymore, right? So if you are in a career, I would go so far as to assume that it's not really fulfilling you the way maybe it used to at times. The one thing that I do like about this jar is there's a strength with this jar. There's a light. It sort of has. It feels like it's lit from within. So it feels like the light has not gone out with you, and your attitude, like you still are able to give beyond in situations than normally others would have. Does that make sense? But to me, it feels like it's an old situation and it's sort of not working anymore. Amanda, I'll add you to the list. Give me one moment. So it feels like a change needs to take place soon if it hasn't already. Only because this isn't like this job is not giving you the joy that you want, and if it's a lack of a job, then it's the fear of finding the right job that's also standing in your way. Does that make sense? And it's creating this sorrow, it's creating this sadness. I feel like there's something in your career space, and I may be wrong about this, but I feel like there's something in your career space, a belief that you might have that says, I'm hearing in my ears like, oh, we can't have it all. Like, you know, if you want to earn good money, you have to have a job that you don't necessarily like, or like you watched your parents like sort of struggle to get whatever it was that they had, and they weren't necessarily happy in their career, so you've kind of adopted that belief system into your life and into your career space. And that's sort of why this card is present, is it sort of feels like things that you've seen maybe while growing up, or patterns that you watched other people, the adults around you, do around their careers, is maybe where you're finding yourself now. If you actually looked at them, maybe like measured your career by what was going on when you were a kid with your parents and their career, you might find some of the emotions and the similarities might be the same. There's similarities. So I would look into that and see what sort of like limiting beliefs or what sort of ideas you have about your career space, and what sort of fears you might have about maybe changing it. Like, we all have fears. I have fears about doing this for a job, you know, and so I can understand and relate with that. And I'm always working on where my head's at around doing this as work, because it's what I think I'm supposed to be doing, but I struggle with, you know, my own fears around it. So I think that there's a similarity in this card for you too. And so if you are giving to a job that no longer inspires you, then you've got this jar to me right here. Looks like it has a lot of energy, a lot of light, a lot of beauty to give and capability to give. So don't waste it on something that's no longer giving back to you. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense, Mandy. Melinda, I'll add you to the list. You're doing medium readings and you're burnout. Feel like something else needs to be done, but not sure where to go yet. That would make sense with this card being the sorrow card, for sure. You will find it though, and your light's not completely burnt out. Take some rest. I just went through a period where I had to take like 2 weeks off because I'm starting to open up to mediumship, and I don't like it's a different thing than what I'm not used to normally doing with these cards and how I work. So it was an adjustment. So give yourself that time in that space, because you have these flowers and this vase say to me that you have a lot to give, and it's beautiful. So don't totally give up. Give to yourself. Don't let them burn you out. Because people don't realize how hard this work is, actually. I mean, a lot of people don't realize. They just think it's all fun and games, and they're like, ooh, tell me about my husband, or tell me about this. Am I going to be pregnant next week? I don't know. Were you hoeing last week? Maybe. I don't know. Oh, God. Find some humor around it, honey. Like, seriously, it will help. So I hope that card helps. I'm sorry if you're feeling burnout and all the downloads. I don't know what's been going on with me either. I spent the first half of the day in bed today. But I did get up, I did shower, and I did go out and do the rest of my day. I paid some bills and actually, you know, got some shit done. But it took me a minute to get out of bed. All right, so Amanda Jo Burke, are you still with us? And then Melinda, you're up next. Michaela, is that for the Were You Out Hoeing last week? I think that... Jen! Wait! Wait, Jen, are you Jen DiGiovanni? Wait, I'm confused. Are you... I thought it was Jennifer Nichols is Jen DiGiovanni. Jen DiFiore, you're Jen DiGiovanni who sent me the money? I'm confused about who sent me because I've been sitting here waiting for Jennifer Nichols. I went to PayPal and sent $12 for 3 cards. Do I need to do anything else? Sorry, I'm new to this. No, hold on. Let me look and just verify that you PayPal'd and then... hold on 1 second. Sorry. Just give me 1 minute. This is when it starts to get fun. Oh, after your reading. Okay, because I am waiting for another Jen that paid for 3 cards too. But she is not here. She paid early. And so I don't know where she went. Or maybe she forgot. Just let me verify the payment's been received. 1 second. I didn't get a notification of it. Wait, are you, yeah, 2 gens, I know, it's so confusing. Okay, that's strange, because I've got, alright, anyways, let me do Jen's, because she paid, so Jen, that bumps you straight to the top of the line, so we're going to do 3 cards. Give me a subject, please, on what you would like. Thank you, Mandy. I appreciate it. We should talk offline about mediumship. I would love to know what you do and how you do it. Yeah, I did get your payment, Jen. Thank you. I see it here now. Oh, Angel, you paid me too. Oh, shit. I haven't even looked at any of these. Michaela. Fuck. Uh-oh. Hold on. 1 minute. Okay. So, I know, it looks like it. On love. All right, so 3 cards on love, Jen. Ready? And Amanda, you'll be next, okay? And then I'll do Angel and Michaela and then Amanda. So I'm sorry, Amanda, you're getting bumped because these women have paid. Okay? So paid takes preference. I'm sorry, guys. Over free. All right, so, Jen, love. All right, give me 1 moment. It's that same energy. It's that same like I'm not taking no for an answer energy that I had on your life reading. Like you're tenacious. Like you have a lot of energy. I wouldn't say like it's just got an intensity to it. Like, God damn it, I'm gonna make it happen. All right, so let's look at your 3 cards on love and see what we've got going on. Ooh, ooh. So the first card offhand is the Man of Cups, which is Surfer. And this card always like signifies, usually when I'm doing love readings or relationship readings, it always signifies like sort of the guy, the one we want, the kind of the ideal man. I don't know if you're necessarily with him already or if you're trying to imagine him, but if you are trying to imagine, I kind of feel like maybe you're trying to imagine him because this guy's really ideal. Like he's beautiful. Like let me show you in the Buddha card, right? He's putting forward this sort of, you know, this white flower, and he's you know, charming and attractive and charismatic and all of these things, right? And so to me, I feel like this is you sort of thinking about the type of guy that you want, or if you already have him, maybe there's somebody that you think is your ideal, that you've met him already, but you're definitely putting him in this sort of idealistic box, right? That's what this feels like to me. But I would say with the Surfer card, the Man of Cups, he is an emotional guy, and but he wants to keep it sort of, I feel like, with the terminology surfer, he wants to kind of keep it easy and sweet and not necessarily be too bogged down or too entrenched. Does that make sense? And your energy when I shuffle the cards always feels very direct, very like, not intense isn't the right word, but it's like a strong energy. Like you're like that chariot card, like you see what you want, you go after it, and you don't take no for an answer. And so in the love department, you might be a little bit intimidating for this type of a guy, in the sense that you might be a little bit too aggressive or forceful, and he may not be ready for all of that, right? So if you are like trying to manifest this ideal, like easy guy that goes along with the flow, make sure that he's able to deal with, the full moon is coming on the 17th. Make sure he's able to deal with sort of your intensity, or he has the same goals as you. So if this is an actual guy that you're looking at or considering, and he looks really charming and looks good on, and he's kind of piqued your interest, that's great. But he may not be as driven as you are. That's a good word for you. It's like driven, I feel like. And if you're manifesting him and you're thinking about these ideals and thinking about all of this, like you want this easy laid back guy that's like really charming and attractive and charismatic and all of these things, make sure that he can keep up with you. That's the thing. Because this card, I don't necessarily know that he has the drive that you're capable of. Does that make sense? So let's see what your next card is. The next card is the Child of Worlds, which is player. I'm going to flip over all of your cards really quick. So this is interesting. This Child of Worlds card says to me that, like, and it's funny that it's called player. So it says to me, like, my initial feeling is maybe you're a bit of a player. I'm not exactly sure. Like, when I look at this card, this feels like you in the middle. You feel like a little bit, are you pushing too much? You might be pushing too much. But here's the thing. I feel like when I'm looking at this card, so this is an actual guy. This surfer card is an actual guy. I feel like you're not sure either. There's fear here. This is you, and you kind of like swirl yourself with a lot of stuff around you to keep you sort of busy. And you might keep yourself a little bit like a lot of different irons in the fire to sort of not deal with some of the, like the worries you have or the fears that you have around actually being in a really deeply committed relationship. And it's funny because I think that this surfer card, you've picked a guy that is kind of surfing on top of his emotions. He's not, like, it's almost like you pick emotionally unavailable people. Does that make sense? And I don't mean any judgment by that. I've done it myself. I'm guilty of doing that too. But I feel like this little girl here feels a little bit unsure of herself in the love department. So she sort of keeps it like what's the phrase I want to use? Like stick and move. Don't let them see what's really going on behind the curtain kind of thing. And that's what I mean by player. You may not be dating multiple people at the same time, or you might be. I don't know. You might be a full-on true player. But you might be kind of like sort of keeping it... I don't know, like smoke and mirrors in a way, because you're nervous too about maybe being vulnerable to somebody. Does that make sense? Okay, so let me take that down. And then the last card is the Priestess. And that's interesting to me because I feel like this is another woman, in the sense that I don't necessarily know if there's another woman involved in this situation. I feel like there might be in the background. It's funny because I want to attribute this card to you because this is your reading, but when I look at this card, it feels like there's another woman. She might be far away. She might be part of his life, or like I don't feel like she's definitely fully in the picture, but she has an effect, and she has like a kind of big effect. So like I go so far as to say, like, if you are messing with this surfer guy, right, or this Man of Cups guy, does he have like an ex-wife somewhere? Or an ex-girlfriend that has sway with him? Because I feel like that's what this is. And I feel like she's sort of, kind of, maybe I'm totally off on this, but I kind of feel like she's sort of cock-blocking the energy a little bit. And the reason why I say that she's not necessarily fully in the picture is A, I feel like she's hiding a little bit here, and B, there's this this boat is drawing my attention, which makes me feel like she's sort of maybe not fully, she might even be an older girlfriend or an ex-wife from a long time ago that he still deals with that requires a lot of his attention. Does that make sense? But a mom, it could be her mom. I'm not sure. I thought about that too, like the possibility of a mother energy too. But I went through a divorce and an unfaithful marriage. Fear is a big thing right now. Oh, this is the other, okay, the unfaithful marriage. This is probably that other woman. That's why she's far away. I think this is the woman that, from the divorce. Do you understand? Like the memory of her. She's having an effect on your relationships. And she's having an effect on how you're feeling. Does that make sense? The experience of the unfaithful marriage is kind of, this is that other woman sort of lingering around in your love department, the memory of her. And she has a lot of power. The hurt or the pain around that, the fear, like you say, the fear for you, is very real. Because she shows up today as the priestess, which means that she's got a lot of energy. Priestess is major arcana, right? But she's not necessarily somebody you deal with all the time, so, or anymore. But the memory of her lingers, and that's why this little girl in this card to me feels a little bit scared and a little bit spooked and a little bit overwhelmed, and that makes sense. I think that it's okay for you to be scared, spooked, and overwhelmed. You've been through a tough situation, but you have been through it. So we can let go of this lady here. Let's actually just take her off camera at this point. And let's not let her bad behavior or their bad choices affect our now, right? In the love department. So does that resonate with you? I hope it makes sense. I think that when I look at the three of these cards, my personal advice would be that maybe it might suit you to be a little bit single for right now. I like the energy around that Chariot card. Like wherever you're heading right now in your life, there's a direction and a drivenness that I like to see. And so you are definitely moving towards some good things. Allow yourself to do that and don't get caught up in the old stuff and don't let the fear run you. Hold on one second, I'm getting a notification. Oh, Amanda Jo Burke, thank you. You didn't have to send payment to get a reading. I would have done it for free, but I appreciate that. Wait, Amanda, you sent for a full reading? Do you want to do I'm not going to do a full reading on here. I'll do one with you outside of here. It does make sense. Great, thank you, Jen. Amanda Jo Burke, you sent $40. That's a full reading offline for an hour with me. That's my reading price. So did you want to book a session? Now I'm really confused. Did you mean to do that? I can break it up? How many readings are you going to get tonight, lady? So, a 3-carder and then later. Okay, all right, so what subject do you want, Amanda Jo Burke, what subject do you want it on? The first 3-carder. You're very welcome, Jen. Thank you for sending over payment. And Melinda Eichen-Miller, I haven't forgotten you. I know you got a free one, but I've got to do these ladies that have paid. I've got to do Michaela and Angel. Love. All right, Amanda Jo. Okay, give me 1 minute. I'm going to assume I have your permission. Just give me 1 moment. So with you, I feel like I get a couple of impressions. I think you might, I'm not sure if you are in a relationship, or if you're not, then the last relationship you were in didn't necessarily go very well, or the one that you're currently in didn't go very well. I kind of got a little bit of an angry vibe, or a little bit of a pissed off vibe, like annoyed. Does that make any sense to you at all? If you can give me a yes or no on that. Like it just feels like frustrated, or I wouldn't say that you were like, if you're currently single, then your last relationship or your views around love are a little bit like frustrated right now because your last experience in a relationship maybe wasn't so great, or it was annoying. Does that make any sense? Or that is your current relationship right now. You're not super happy with them. Yes, angry Scorpio. Okay. See my tail, see my tail. Okay, so let's look at your cards. So your first one is the Four of Wands, which is aspiration. And I love that there's a big fist on it. Like right on the gate, you're like, fuck you! Don't get on my bad side, motherfucker! That's what I feel like this card's saying right here. To me, it feels like you are a little bit pissed. Like there's this sort of... it's like, but when I look at this card, it feels like you want... Oh, he was the Scorpio. Okay. Well, this to me feels like somebody was angry, somebody was annoyed, somebody was frustrated. I feel like when I look at this card, though, there is a hope underneath this that, like, you can have something better at some point. Like that, the reason why is because it's the aspiration card. It's aspiring to something. I'm going to take Buddha down because I don't want to... There. So it's just... pulling my attention. So to me, it feels like there is this idea that you want something better. I don't know if you're still with this guy, but it just feels to me like there's this desire for something more. So the next card, actually I'll show you, is the Woman of Worlds. And this is Preserver. And I feel like this angry Scorpio hurt you, for sure. I feel like there's a lot of feminine energy here, a lot of emotional energy in here. It feels like there's a retreat happening, or maybe a moment that you need to take to sort of take care of yourself and nurture yourself and preserve sort of whatever you walked into the relationship with, or whatever like angry Scorpio guy did. To me, it felt like there might have been a period where you had to sort of like heal from that, or take care of yourself and preserve yourself. And, ooh. So, this card is the Five of Wands, which was oppression. And to me, this is a very dark card. And in the sense, like, I kind of feel like with this aspiration card and the fist and everything, I want to say, like, it almost, did it get physical? Like, it feels like that to me. Like, it feels like there was... Like, it's just weird. To me, this doesn't feel like a very good experience. It feels like if you're not with him, I'm glad that you're away from him. Does that make sense? Only because this feels dark. If this was your last relationship, if this was your last experience that you're going off of in your love department right now, if this is what's going on in your love department, I like the Preserver card in the center. Okay, extreme emotional and mental abuse. That's what this oppression card feels like. And so, are you still with him? Because if you're not, yeah, verbal and he stalked me. Yeah, that makes sense, because that oppression card is nasty business, like not fun. I like that you have the Preserver card in the center. It says that you stopped and took time to sort of protect yourself, but I think that you need some time and space away from this whole situation before you go about finding something new. You're not still with him. Okay, good. Because I don't want you with him, not with these friggin' cards. They're not very promising or good. Your energy feels a little bit more fun and light than what these three cards represent. So I'm sorry that that was your last experience in love, but I feel like there's some lessons here in these cards. That's why they're showing up for you. There's some things that you probably need to, what's the word I want to say, like, heal before getting into your next relationship. These cards feel like they're showing up to tell you like you've been through a lot in recently, and there's some care things that need to sort of take place, or some time that needs to happen or pass before jumping into your next thing. Does that make sense? Oh, you need strength to get away again. So it is very new. So you may not even be completely done yet. That's why these cards are showing up. Stay strong. You have the strength to do it. I just feel like he is on either side of you with this aspiration and the suppression card. So stay strong, and hopefully you can find your way free of him. I think that you can. It's just, it feels like he's kind of pushing you, or he's, maybe chasing you a little bit. Like, and you said earlier stalked. So yeah, that would make sense. I would get as far away from him as possible. And I know that might not feel like very far because it feels like he's on either side of you. But I think that that's going to be what suits you best. I'm actually going to pull another card just because I want to see some advice for what you would do in this situation. Okay, so give me one moment. So the advice card is the illumination card, which is the Ace of Wands. And it's funny because all of these cards that are representing as his nasty behavior are wands. He needs to wake up and realize, and so do you. Like, this is a wake-up call. And I think that you really need to, I'm going to take this as, like, this is the advice here, is like, you need to sort of wake up, realize, like, this electric shock, like the hand touching it, it's like realizing the situation for what it really is. And I think that you're already in that place, but you really need to stick to that. If he comes back around being sweet or charismatic or charming, or even just being a dick and trying to force you back into the relationship, you can't let him. You need to stay in this place of illumination. You need to stay in this place of awareness. You need to realize that you are worth more and that you don't deserve this, and that you can go about having more and getting, like, open your mind to the idea of being free of him and away from him. You can do this. That's what this card is saying to me. So keep your eyes on the, like, I don't want to say eyes on the prize, but keep your focus on the idea that this situation is not good for you and it's not healthy, and stay in that awareness, because that's what you need. He also needs to come to some awareness that, like, you're not his anymore. Does that make sense? Well, this illumination card could say that you're saying, thank you, the hardest part is knowing how to finesse my way out so that it doesn't trigger him. But the thing is that you might just have to go, like, get the hell out. Keep your eyes on the truth. That's exactly what this card is about, like, being aware of the truth for what it really is and staying clear on that, and looking at that and moving forward with that in mind. Okay? I'm going to take that down. All right, Amanda, I'm going to give you a minute to let all that sink in, and I'm going to go to Michaela. Are you still here, dear? You're welcome, Amanda. Amber Sadler sent money too? Okay, Amber, I see that you sent a payment too. All right, so Michaela, did you just want one card, or do you want one pendulum swing, and on what subject? And then Angel, you're next, dear. And then Amber, and then Melinda. And then that's it. No more payments, guys. I'm going to cut it off at that. Let me just make sure that I got everybody. I did. Right? Okay. Hey, Janet. A card in general, I guess, whatever I see. Okay. Give me one moment. I'm going to assume I have your permission. Let's say hello to... Are we frustrated, Michaela? What's going on here? Like, I feel like there's some frustration. I feel like there's something going on. I feel like there's a heaviness to your shuffle. The card that you get, though, is Child of Cups, which is Feeler. It's interesting to me. I'm going to show it to you here. It feels a little bit all over the place. Like, you might feel a little bit out of control emotionally right now, but I feel like there's a gamut of emotions that you can have. Like, there's all these happy children up here, and then there's these sad, like, children under the water down here, and it kind of feels like maybe you might be all over the board right now, like, sort of, I don't know, like, emotionally maybe overwhelmed by your feelings right now. A little bit too much in the feels, as they say. The other thing that I want to say is, this is kind of, I don't know if I should say this. There's no possibility that you are with child, right? I don't know why I feel like I want to ask that, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Would that be a no? Hey, Christy. I don't know why I feel that, but maybe I'm off on that. So, yeah, usually LOL, like overwhelmed emotionally. The lag here is so weird because I'm asking questions and she's answering from previous. Hey, Stephanie Starr, how are you? Thank you. I hope you're well too. I am well. So to me, it feels like you're caught up in your feelings, but you get to choose what you get to focus on. And I think if she is, she's out. Wait, you guys, what do you mean? If she is, she's out. I don't get it. Wait, yeah? I'm confused. You guys are giving mixed signals now. Is there a possibility that you could be with child? Because I feel like, no, usually pregnant, LOL. What? You guys are confusing me now. I don't understand. Anyways, I'm going to go back to this card. So it feels to me like you get to pick what you choose to focus on. And it feels like in your shuffle, you're choosing to focus on a little bit more of what's heavier or frustrating with you. And that's more of this side of the card. Even up here, like with the rainbow, you get to choose. There's a rainbow or there's like these things that look like clouds. Like, which one do you want to choose to look at? Where do you want to be? Do you want to be the happy kid or the sad kid? But she's not. Okay, good. Well, I don't know. I just kind of got this weird feeling like, is she up in her feels because she's got a child coming? No, baby. Yes, always in my feels. Okay, cool. Good to know. Just double check and go take a pregnancy test. Have you been sleeping with anybody? I need to know. I'm just kidding. So to me, it's like I would be conscious about where your feelings are at. Feelings are okay. They're, but let's remember sometimes I'm super up in my feels all the time too, but feelings aren't facts. So, it doesn't necessarily have to always be, we get to choose where we put our focus and what we focus on. And so I think that would shift you out of this sort of heaviness that I was feeling and this kind of I don't know, like frustration or disappointment that I was feeling in the shuffle. Does that make sense? You better go get a test, Melinda says. Well, I'm just wondering, is there even a chance? Like, is there somebody that, oops, oh, the card fell over. I'm not touching it. Is there even a chance that, like, I don't know. Oh, shit. This was on the bottom of the deck. The Fool. But look, there's a baby. Girl, go get a pregnancy test, please. That might be why you're in the fields, girl. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. No! Okay. I'm moving on to Angel. Angel, are you ready? I just need a subject. Yes, Stephanie, I am. I love him. I wish he was gay. Michaela, I'm serious. Angel's like, I'm ready and not with child. That's okay. Do you have a subject for me, Angel? And then after Angel is going to be Amber Sadler, if you're here, and then Melinda. Whatever pops out, okay. All right, so let me just look at this. I'm going to assume I have your permission, Angel. Let's move that baby out of the way. Give that baby back to Michaela. Okay, I'm going to say with your shuffle, Angel, I feel like things are moving quickly for you, or like, you know, you've got a fast mind, you're doing things, but I feel like there's like a lack of excitement for you right now. Like, it feels like, I hate to say this, but like the question I want to ask when I'm doing the shuffle is, where are you finding your joy right now? Are you having any joy? Because when I was shuffling the cards, it feels like you're doing things quickly, you're getting things accomplished, but they're not really inspiring you or feeling super joyful. Does that make any sense? Like it's almost boring to you, or it feels like a little bit like, oh, this again kind of feeling. Does that make any sense? Your husband's over there cracking up. Awesome. Are you there, Angel? Let me know if that makes any sense to you at all. It just feels like you're kind of like going through the motions, if that not that it's bad, it's just you're moving quickly trying to get somewhere, but it's not quite where you want to be. And I haven't flipped your cards yet to look. Yes, it definitely makes sense. All right, let's look at your cards. Okay. I'm going to flip them all over. All right, so your first card is the Eight of Crystals, which is synthesis. And again, I'm going to go back to this place of this is like sort of a mental card. You're thinking a little bit too much about stuff. I think you're a little bit too in your head, and you're also running. I feel like when I look at this card for you, in your case, you're listening to everything everybody says to you, and you take it in, and you're like, that's whack. Like, to me, it feels like you don't necessarily feel like you are connecting with the people that are around you fully. I mean, there's some people you are connecting with, but like the world around you, maybe this doesn't feel like you're necessarily locking in and feeling 100% on board with the shit you hear, or the things that are said to you, or the way that communication is going on around you. This might be like in work, or, you know, like it just feels like something's off. Something's like needs some finessing. Something needs to be like balanced so that you can feel more connected. So then the next card, and this is funny because I saw this card for your mom when I did a reading for her, and this is the Hierophant, and this to me feels like, hold on, he's gonna fall. To me, this feels like you are like wise beyond your years, and that's part of the reason why the synthesis card is happening. Is I feel like the Hierophant is like usually a teacher in a way, and it sort of bestows knowledge. And when I look at this statue, it feels like you have sort of a good intuition about you, but you're sort of hiding yourself in here. There's a lot of shit going on around you. You never forget anything. This elephant always makes me think of never forget. Storing knowledge, you know, an elephant never forgets. And it feels to me like you're kind of keeping yourself safe and pulled back from the world. That's part of that lack of inspiration or that lack of feeling connected in this synthesis card. Is like, it's almost like I want to feel like I want to say like you feel like the world doesn't get it on some level, and they don't in a weird way. This Hierophant card to me says that you kind of know more than a lot of people around you, or you feel that way. Or that's what's displayed to you. Does that make sense? By other people's actions or their behaviors, the things that they say. You just don't necessarily feel fully on board with all of it. That's that synthesis card. And so you kind of take what you know, and this is similar, like I feel like with your mom too. I saw this with your mom. You kind of take what you know and you sort of back up and you go, okay, I'm just gonna wait over here and watch y'all do what you do, right? And you're always like kind of mentally clocking everybody like, oh, that's who you are. Oh, okay. That's what I'm feeling, right? And so you, but it comes from a place of wisdom. That's the thing. And this card to me says that this comes from a place of wisdom, but it feels sort of like it sort of separates you in a way from the people that are around you or the life that's happening around you. Does that make sense? You feel that? Okay. No, I'm not saying you're fat from the elephant. I'm saying that you have a memory like a steel trap. Like you don't forget. Like when people say stuff or do stuff, like the memory is there. And it's all sort of been kind of part and parcel with why you've pulled back into this space here. Because you don't necessarily feel like people deserve your knowledge. Does that make sense? And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that it's just like that's where some of that I don't know if it's disconnection or like if you feel disconnected from the people that you deal with in day-to-day world, but that's maybe where that comes from a little bit. Now here's your next card, which I love this. It's the Three of Wands, which is compassion. And so in the midst of all of this, I sort of feel like underneath it all, even though you're pulled back, this compassion card says to me, and this also reminds me a little bit of your mom too, and I think that she's probably instilled some of this into you, is this ability to sort of have your boundaries, but still be able to like love people and feel protected and still like give out positivity, even though you may not feel like you're connected to people as well as you would like to be. I feel like there is a transformation that is like available to you, and part of the reason why is because there's this butterfly here on this hand, and butterflies always represent like, you know, the transformation from like being a caterpillar into like something beautiful and grand. And this compassion card says to me that you do have this capacity to be a very loving, caring person. And when you do feel safe and you feel connected to somebody and you feel like you can relate to them and you feel safe with them, there is this card comes forth, this beautiful like side of you. And I think that in that there's a transformation. And this Hierophant card, like you have a lot of stuff to share. You have a lot of knowledge. You have a lot of awareness, and to me it feels like I'm getting like little tingles on the top of my head right now. To me it feels like you hide it a little bit for fear that people might not understand it or that they might negate it because they can't understand it. Does that make sense? And I think that this whole reading right now, and I can relate to this a little bit, I think that you and I are similar in this way. I feel like that some of this whole reading is about finding connection to others for you. Like that, like I think that you're connected to people, like your mom and Michaela and people like that, but there's this connection to other people around you that you're seeking, that needs to happen in the synthesis card that might actually bring about some of that freedom and that joy. That because you're a very capable person. Like this Hierophant card says to me that you're capable. You're able to deal with anything life throws at you and without much trouble. And that's the speed with which like the shuffle came through. Like it felt like you were you're able to get shit done even in the face of adversity. You're just not like it's almost not even a challenge. Like But what is challenging is like sort of being vulnerable to people for you. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. If you need any more information, you can always message me, dear. You know that. All right, so Amber Sadler, are you still with us? Your hermit way, exactly. Well, that Hierophant card, you are hermiting a little bit, but the Compassion card says that when you come from that place, there's a transformation that happens, and it's actually really beautiful and good for you. Goals, if you get anything, and okay, and it's just one card, right, Amber? I'm gonna assume I have permission. Okay, so like Amber, I'm going to say we're in our own way here when it comes to goals. I feel like, thank you, Angel. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Amber, I feel like there's like a lot of like resistance in your goals. I feel like there's some sort of either disbelief or you're not necessarily being told that you can achieve your goals. There seems to be like, it feels like the world is like in your way or kind of telling you can't do it, telling you that it can't be done. And here's the thing, I think that you've bought into that sort of belief system and it's a lie. And now that I look at your card, I understand why. You got the Illumination card too, which is the Ace of Wands. This is about waking up and realizing and having like sort of a shocking experience that tells you like, oh, wait a second, I can't actually have goals and get them accomplished. I feel like that heaviness in the shuffle felt like people are telling you, oh, no, you can't do this, or you've been told that, and like you start to like take on that identity, right? You need this card here to like wake you up, shock you into the realization that you can do it, you are capable, you have the ability to do it, and you need to sort of wake up and find what it is that like sort of excites you, what you're passionate about, what it is you want to do, and then like go for it and see what happens. Don't get in your own way. Don't let what other people think or how they went about getting their goals, or like the fact that maybe it didn't happen for them. Don't let that dictate to you like, oh, well, it didn't happen for Joe over there, so it's probably not going to happen for me, so I'm not even going to try. You need to have this Illumination card and like get cracking, sister. Get dealing with what it is you do want, and then go after it, because this says to me that you have all the power and energy to get it done. Thank you, Stephanie. It's good to see you, honey. Well, I think that it's about to start off. Like this Illumination card says to me that something's about to kick off. There's going to be an experience. There's going to be something that's going to wake you up. It's going to electrify you and get a fire under your butt. And you've got to stop paying attention to what's sort of in your way or standing in your way. Does that make sense? The heaviness of the shuffle said to me that like your environment might be pushing against you or giving you trouble, and then you go, oh, see, I can't, I'm slow, I guess. You can't be in that place anymore. You need to get to fast going. Does that make sense? Not fast going, but you know what I mean. Thank you, Karen. So it will happen. You've got to believe. And once you believe, then the shock happens. And then you're like, oh shit, now I see it. I can do this. And you start to move forward with all this energy and power. And that's what this ace card has for you. So let that happen. Believe it's going to happen. Live in that belief. And then when it happens, do the work and move forward. And you will achieve your goals as long as you stay on track and don't talk yourself back into your own way. Does that make sense? I'm going to take that down. All right, Melinda has been so patient. Melinda, are you still here? Oh, you've never seen this, Lori? This is like I haven't done one for a couple of weeks because they get kind of draining. You're welcome, Amber. Thank you for sending over payment. Melinda, are you still here? I know you've been waiting for a while. Melinda will be the last reading for the night if she's still here. Melinda Eichenmiller. Okay, cool. So do you have a subject you want me to pull a card for you on? All right, Stephanie, I'll see you. Have a good night. Join the new Engelgeist group if you want. And then that way you'll see me more often because I'm kind of working on it there a lot. Whatever I feel. Okay. I'm going to assume I have your permission, Melinda. And here we go. So I feel nervous. I'm not sure what that's about, but I feel like I want to almost feels compulsive to me a little bit. It didn't feel like there's a lot of outside resistance in your world or things like that, or if there is, you just kind of get in there and sort of like, not micromanage it, but like you just sort of take care of it. But there's these nerves around like maybe believing in yourself or your ability and your capability of how you go about getting things done. Does that make sense? Like maybe it's self-doubt a little bit, but it just feels a little bit nervous, like second-guessing, that kind of an energy. And you guys, please like, share, and subscribe to like my YouTube channel, the Facebook group. You can always book me for a private reading, which can be done over Facebook video. Thank you for posting that, Ducky. The link is there. Ducky's posted the link that has the information for everything. Yes, that makes sense? Okay, cool. The card that I get here is Man of Crystals, which is Inventor. It's interesting to me because this feels like you're buried under a lot of stuff right now in your mind. It feels like there's a lot of worry and possibly fear. And again, like I said, self-doubt. I want to say this feels a little bit like the career space a little bit. Even though it is a mental card, it feels like maybe you might be worried a little bit about sort of how you go about getting things done, which I expressed in the shuffle. But it feels like there's a lot on your plate right now. This feels a little overwhelmed, and you feel a little angry when I look at this card. It feels to me like you have to do it on your own, like you don't feel very supported. Or if you have people in your life, like say you have a boyfriend or a husband or a partner, it doesn't feel like you're necessarily getting the help that you would desire. Does that make sense? And so I feel like there's a little bit of resentment it's like this card feels like somewhere along the way you've adopted that if you're going to get it done, you have to be the one to do it. That nobody else is going to come through for you. That if you don't get it done, it's not going to happen, kind of thing. And that's where I sort of feel like you almost take on more. You're a dog groomer and you have 2 jobs, high anxiety. Okay, that's sort of what I'm maybe feeling. And it feels like you have to take it all on yourself. And you're kind of feeling a little bit buried in it. I would say that, again, I'm going to go back to sort of what I was telling Michaela in the other reading. This is a mental card, right? So I would say that you really need to look at what you're focusing on right now and how you're focusing on it, where your attention's placed in your life. If you're focusing on the anxiety and on the heaviness of these 2 jobs and that sort of a thing, you're only going to get more of that sort of anxiety and the heaviness. And I can tell you, I deal with anxiety too, especially in the last few months, and it sucks. But I have to get myself out of it as best I can. And some days I'm good at that, and some days I'm not. And so my suggestion to you would be to kind of, to help get you out from underneath this, to try and find the things that are working, to try and find the things that are positive, to sort of, with this being the inventor card, start to invent new ideas that feel better to you than what you have been dealing with. Because what you have been looking at has not been helping you. It's been heavy, it's been overwhelming, and it's feeling like it's a drag. It's dragging you down. And there's a way out from under this. Like, because this is the inventor card, it's saying to me that you can invent a new way of thinking or a new way of focusing your attention on stuff that's positive, and it will start to remove all of this worry in your head and all of this mental stuff that you've got that's sort of burying you a little bit. You were pushing him away because of this. So I'm not, and that's that sort of, you're kind of angry. So you want to shift that, and then you can, and you totally can. This card says to me that you totally can. You just need to like consciously, actively choose the thoughts, choose where you put your attention, choose those things. And trust me, I could use this advice as much as you could, because I have days where I choose the wrong thing to focus on, and it bugs me. So I hope that makes sense. You're not as buried as you think you are, too. Like, you're a hard worker. There's a lot of strength in this card. There's a lot of mental strength. Like, not a lot of people could handle all of this weight on them and still breathe. But you can, girl. You can carry a heavy load and still get things done. And there's something to be said for that, you know? Give yourself credit where credit is due, kind of thing. But you also don't want to get buried by it, you know? You don't want to be stuck in the resentment of it. Does that make sense? Don't focus on how way down you are. Start focusing on the way up, Melinda. That's going to be better for you, I promise. I hope that helped. Please join the Facebook group. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you'd like. Well, good. I think that you can. That's the inventor part of this. If you would like a further, information on your new business or all of that, you can also book a private reading with me, and there would be more, detailed information if we look at one specific subject as to what's going on in your life. But I am going to sign off for now. Up, exactly. I'm going to sign off for now. I will see you guys tomorrow in the morning for the daily forecast. You guys can catch that in the group or on my business page. Please like my business page if you haven't yet, so you'll be alerted and follow it. Because I do a daily forecast for the energy of the day. It's the spiritual, energy report, kind of spiritual meteorologist thing. It's because of the glasses. And I thank you all for tuning in. I thank you all of those of you that sent over donations. You helped me realize that my dreams are possible through helping you guys achieve yours. So you're welcome, Angel. You're welcome. Thank you, Melinda. Thank you, Laura Hill. I will see you guys. If you loved it, let your friends know. You're welcome, and have a great night, you guys. I'm going to sign off. Bye.